Okay guys, I am back with another video. I'm Ashley Pickens here in Memphis, Tennessee. I've been in real estate since 2006 when I was 21. And now I am a foreclosure auctioneer here in Shelby County. And I auction off foreclosures for the banks, right? Well, for the attorneys. So I'm back with another foreclosure video. I'm enjoying this. Thank you everybody for commenting and everything. You know, we're kind of like our own little community, the people who believe that foreclosures are coming. So we'll just have to form our own little community. I've got some more information that I think is interesting. I want to share. I'm outside, you guys. I'm literally like sitting down. Hopefully, y'all look. If a bug jump on me, this video is gonna go from a real estate video to not appropriate for kids, because I don't deal with bugs. But anyway, let's jump into it. Let's talk numbers. I've told y'all, you know, when you look at the foreclosure numbers, what's being reported on the news, the media, and articles, you know, it's only like 33,000 homes in foreclosure right now, blah, 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 blah. But when you look at the amount of people that are behind on their mortgage and that have been behind on their mortgage for like years, like it's insane. It's insane. And when I think about, like I said, in 2020, when the White House came out and said over 10 million people were behind on their mortgage, y'all, what is over 10 million? Like, that's, what is that, 15, 20? And I mean, since 2020, how much has really changed, right? Like, I don't feel like times have gotten easier, if I have to be honest, right? Everything is just so expensive now, honestly. But anyway, let's jump into some numbers. I went on HUD. That's where I get HUD.gov. I'll put the website down below my video so you can see where I get all my information from, so y'all know I don't be pulling it out of my behind, you know. But I decided to, like, let's look over the past year, right? I swear I won't take all day on this. But over the past year, let's look at what HUD has said the numbers are of people and renters, homeowners and renters behind on their payment, right? Let's look over like the past year, okay? So first of all, to put some things in perspective, you guys, we have 78 million homeowners across the United States, 78 million. We've got 48 million people with a mortgage and 30 million without a mortgage, okay? Also, if you didn't know, we have over a million vacant properties owned by investors right now across the country. And like I said, I've been seeing these smaller investors. I've seen them on the foreclosure list, you guys. These smaller investors, like I said in my last video, hard money lenders are foreclosing on these investors because they can't pay them back, you know. And I see your comments, you're right, you know, people did get greedy. I can't even lie, y'all. When the 2022, when people were waiving appraisals and paying $40,000 and $50,000 over for a house, y'all, I was in shock. Like, I was like, to me, again, I got licensed in 2006. So to hear people were waiving appraisals, y'all, like, I couldn't even fathom that. I had to call like my mortgage lender and I was like, what do you mean people are waiving appraisals? Like, I don't understand. Like, is that, can you do that? Like, who does? Y'all, I couldn't even like fathom it, you know. But yet here we are, and somebody commented below, right, I'm seeing a lot of these foreclosures are people who just bought in 2022 and 2020 in the last 3 years, you guys. Those are the people, those are a lot of people on my foreclosure list, and the opening bid is too high because they still owe that whole loan, you know. So investors can't buy it at the auction because they owe that whole loan. So if you didn't know, real quick, usually the opening bid is whatever is owed, like that loan or mortgage on the house. That's usually the opening bid, right? So if somebody just bought in 2022 or 2021, they still owe their whole loan, right? So the opening bid is too high for an investor to buy it and make money, right? So these banks have it. So usually if they don't sell at auction, they revert back to the bank, and then those become REOs, right? Real estate owned by the bank. You can buy them, you know, REOs. You can find them in the MLS, Zillow, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm seeing. A lot of people who just bought and are in foreclosure, you know what I mean? And honestly, so people are like, well, can you short sale? Because I mean, that's honestly because with their loan plus realtor fees and all that, they would have to bring money to the table, right? So, you know, it's crazy, honestly. So a lot of people are like, people are trying to figure out how to assume their mortgages because their interest rate is low. So that's what investors are trying to do, assume these mortgages that are behind. But anyway, you guys, let's get into the numbers. Y'all, I love your comments. Comment below. Tell me what you think. We're going to have our own little community. So when the foreclosures hit, we're all going to be like, we knew it. We saw it coming. They call us crazy now, but wait. When the hit the fan. Okay. So let's go back. HUD reported back in December of 2022, you guys. We had 5.7 million renters behind and 4 million people behind on their mortgage, right? January, coming into the new year. 5 million renters, 4.5 million homeowners behind on their mortgage. February, 6.3 million renters, so it went up in February, and 3.8 million people behind on their mortgage, so it went down on people below. March, 5.3 million renters behind, 4.2 million homeowners behind on their mortgage. And for March, to put things in perspective, we had 300,000 loans in forbearance in March of this year, okay? Still in forbearance, people not making payments on their mortgage, okay? And these people in forbearance for March probably have been in forbearance since the pandemic, okay? Since COVID, honestly. So now let's keep going. April of this year, 5.5 million renters behind, 4 million homeowners behind on their mortgage. May of this year, 5.7 million renters behind. Again, 4 million people behind on their mortgage. June, this past summer, June, they didn't report any numbers. And you know when they don't be reporting numbers, I'll be like, y'all over there trying to rig some numbers up, right? Are the numbers too high and y'all don't want to tell it? Or maybe the person who does the numbers was just on vacation for June. I don't know. So June, there was no data on renters or people behind on their mortgage, but we got forbearance numbers. So June, we had 244,000 people in forbearance, okay? March, we had 300,000. June, we had 244. So July, we got some information. July, 5.8 million renters behind, 4 million mortgages behind. And August, last month, 5 million renters behind, 4 million mortgages behind. Last month, we had 808,000 people feared eviction in the next 60 days, and we had 196,000 people still in forbearance. Now, what I'm gathering from this is December of 2022, we had 5 million renters behind. August of 2023, we got 5 million renters behind. December of 2022, we had 4 million homeowners behind. Last month, we got 4 million homeowners behind. So now, is it a new set of 4 million people? Or does it sound like the people who were behind last year are still behind now? After a whole year, these people are still behind. And I guarantee you, they were behind all of 2022, and they were probably behind all of 2021. That's how I know that a lot of these people have not paid their mortgage in a year, in 2 years, right? And then ask me if I believe these numbers, you guys. You know, I always say that. Do I actually believe that it's 5 million renters and 4 million homeowners? I don't believe that for 1 second. I don't believe that for 1 second. Again, has life gotten better for people? You know what I mean? They just announced that in October, literally in 2 weeks, everybody's savings was going to run out. People are going to be out of their savings, right? I mean, literally here in Memphis, you guys, I'm in Memphis, like the food pantry line, y'all, it's like miles. I think it's the first Thursday of every month here, miles long, the food pantry line. And y'all, baby, I be looking at cheese and milk, and I told y'all my creamer. I mean, you guys, and utilities have gone up. Utilities have doubled around the country, you guys. So tell me, how am I supposed to believe that all of a sudden in 2020, during COVID, when we had over 10 million people behind on their mortgage, now all of a sudden we down to 4 million? Now, if that makes sense to you, and if you think all these people caught up, if you think 6 million people have caught up on their mortgage in the past 2 years with everything that's been going on, I don't know. Maybe it's me. But if you ask me, in 2020, if we had over 10 million people behind that mortgage, we probably still get over 10 million people behind on their mortgage. But that's not a number that people want to announce, right? The news is not trying to announce numbers that sound like that, because everybody would totally panic, right? You know, again, I said it's like they just gonna kick the can. We will see what happens. Um, you know, again, nobody wants a foreclosure wave or a housing market crash or a recession on their, you know, during their presidential term. So I think next year it's going to get really interesting with this election year, which doesn't help anybody, honestly, right? You just keep putting moratoriums. You just keep telling people not to pay their mortgage, um, and just pass it to the next person, I guess. I mean, I don't know how that helps, but I have a good feeling when these banks look at their numbers, because I'm like, who knows the actual numbers, right? Let's talk about who knows them. The banks know the numbers. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they know the numbers. All they got to do is look at their books and say, how many people ain't paid their mortgage? How many defaulted loans do we have on our books right now? Everybody send in your numbers, right? Everybody send your numbers in, and then we're going to really see how many people have defaulted on their loan, who haven't paid in 2 years, right? And people are like, how do you get behind? Like, how does foreclosure happen? You guys, life happens. Like, life can punch you in your face, right? I think a lot of people I'm almost 40, so life hits harder than anything, right? And coming out of COVID, and people have lost, like, people I talk to, they just cannot, you just can't catch up. It's hard to catch up. It's different if it's like a bill that's a $20 bill, and then you can catch up on that. But when you're talking about a mortgage, you get behind 2 or 3 months on a mortgage, that's hard to catch up, right? And, you know, the moratorium, that was 2 years. And I get it. A lot of people needed that relief. Like the guy I talked to a month ago, he lost his job during COVID, right? And how do you buy houses? It's based on your income, on the jobs that you work on. You lose your job and you got to go find another one, and it doesn't match the same income you were bringing in. It's real quick to get behind, right? Like, you know what I mean? And then when it comes to your mortgage, like, you know, when you don't pay your mortgage, you're not going to get kicked out immediately, right? So if you're thinking about, do I pay my mortgage or do I pay my light bill? You know, if you don't pay your light bill, they're going to cut your lights off, right? Here in Memphis, y'all, we only have one electrical company, and they control everything. Light, gas, water, everything. We don't have options. We have one company that you pay for everything. So if you don't pay that one, like, you can't pay your light bill and not pay your water bill. All of it is included here in Memphis. So if you don't pay that bill, all of your stuff will be cut off. Everything. Water, light, gas, everything. So, you know, when you're trying to pick between keeping the lights on for your kids or paying your mortgage, you know, your kids you gotta have air, you gotta have heat. Like, I live in Memphis, it gets 100 degrees outside, you know what I mean? So, you know, when you're trying to make life decisions, when you're trying to choose between like gas and food and your mortgage, you know what I mean? And you don't have to pay. Like, I talk to people all the time, they were like, he was like, my wife died. My wife died, and now I'm not getting her income anymore, and I can't pay my mortgage. Like, that's how people get behind. That's how people end up in foreclosure. You know, I don't think anybody is just out there like, F the government, I ain't paying my mortgage. You know, it's like, shoot, we trying to pick between gas and food and paying your mortgage. So, you guys, again, if you think I believe that only 4 million people are behind on their mortgage, you think again. Think again. And I think the banks know this, and I think the banks know if they flip the switch or pull the trigger on foreclosures, it's going to be a disaster. A disaster, you guys, if they pull the trigger. 2010, we had, what, 1 million foreclosures? 2009, we had like 915,000 foreclosures, right? Like, those were when the numbers were heavy. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Comment, what do you think? You think the numbers are right? Right? They just think we're all just sitting ducks, right? What do you think? You know, we're forming our own little community here, right? So tell me what you think. Comment below, subscribe. I'm going to keep coming out with videos. I'll keep sharing information that I know. Y'all share information with me that you know. Y'all start a YouTube channel. I'll follow you. I need other people to watch, right? But that's all I got today, you guys. Again, I'm not going to edit this video because my software doesn't work. I'm on Instagram, Your Agent Ashley. I have the auction course. So, you know, when the foreclosures do come, you know, the first stop is the auction. So learn how to bid and buy. And, you know, if the opportunity does present itself, you'll be ready. The course is linked below. I have a newsletter. Y'all can sign up. I only send it out twice a week where I talk about foreclosures and auctions and stuff like that. Because y'all ain't finna write no newsletter like every week. I'm not going to do that. But every 2 weeks. So, yeah, we'll have our own little community. You know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment, all the things. If my message resonates with you, right? If it doesn't, my message is not for everybody. A lot of people think it's like rainbows and unicorns and, you know, the housing market's fine. Unemployment rate is low, you know. This too shall pass, which it will. But I think it's going to get worse before it gets better, if you ask me. Hey, but what do I know, right? Well, that's all I got. I'll be back probably tomorrow with another video. Just for reference, it is September the 16th, September 16th, 2023. And I guess you're going to follow me on this journey as we see what happens with the real estate market, you guys. This will be like my little journal, my little diary. And y'all can just be a part of it. And we'll see what happens with the numbers. So, have a great weekend, you guys. Thanks for watching. And I'll see you soon. Bye.